Right.
And he felt his match with Ricky Steamboat was so great, but he felt like it ruined his life. I felt it ruined his life because he was OCD about trying to have a better match than that, and he couldn't. And the reason he couldn't is because 50% of that match was because of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Right,
Sure,
exactly.
sure.
And I'm sorry, without a great opponent,
Sure.
not that the other opponents weren't great,
Right.
but
This was a special.
Ricky Steamboat was a phenomenal
Oh,
babyface athlete
yes.
with unparalleled skills.
Yes.
And you know, if
Yeah.
you can't admit that, you need to go back and watch the video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he kept trying to top that match, and he never could. And it just frustrated him that he couldn't do it. So he's announcing, and he's starting to realize that Shawn Michaels is emerging as the greatest talent in the WWE, whatever it was.
At the time, but getting to be close to being WWE. Go on.
So he called me up at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I don't remember what it was. Hello, this is Randy. Yeah, no shit.
I didn't think it was Vince. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, you know, first of all,
The mistake in that voice.
he says, I need you to do something. Because I had a computer with one of those, you know, you've got mail, you know, back in the old ancient
I
days.
still use AOL.
Holy,
Quiet
20
down.
years ago, Batman. Go on.
Yeah, this was back in the old days.
Yeah.
I need to find me one of those champagne bottles that you can break over somebody's head, and I think I found something in Van Nuys, California, those pretend champagne bottles that are breakaway, you know, that they use in whatever vaudeville or movies or stage plays or whatever.
Yeah, props.
Boom.
Yeah.
Prop. Because if you do it with a real bottle, you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that's a murder weapon right there.
Right.
So
Or bad pizza.
he says, find it, but don't pull the trigger. Don't buy it yet. Just find out where it is. So if we buy it, we got to do it in a hurry. So he had a 2-year plan, him and Shawn Michaels. He was going to drink some champagne to Shawn Michaels' career, and they would put their glasses together, say cheers,
I like where this is going.
and then he was going to take the bottle and break it over Shawn's head. Little
That would be great.
little red stuff coming out,
That would have been great.
and then it was going to be the Hatfields and the McCoys, the feud. Every week, something would happen. Something would happen. I'm going to get even with you for what you did for me. Boom! I'm going to get even with you for what you did with me. He had it all lined up. He thought he was a meticulous man. He thought he was brilliant, and he had a sense of what the people wanted for entertainment. So he went through all this thing, and he was going to culminate at WrestleMania with is going to be Shawn Michaels' hair against Randy's career. If Randy loses, he retires to the announcing table. If Shawn Michaels loses, Randy gets to shave his head in the middle of the ring.
Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah,
sure,
I'm
absolutely.
into it.
Yeah.
Well, Randy was going to put him over, lose right in the middle,
Okay.
and go right to the announcing booth.
Okay.
This is not like Bret Hart, who doesn't care who wins as long as it's him.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
And,
We say you're a big Bret Hart fan.
No, I am. Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I am a big Bret Hart fan.
Fair. Okay.
I am. Hey, I don't knock success. He's a better man than me. He's great. He's good. He's fantastic, and he's a nice person. But he was thinking more of Bret Hart than he was the WWE. Okay, can we be
Yeah,
fair?
sure. Absolutely.
And my
We feel
brother,
that way.
was thinking about. Don't forget, he lost to Ricky Steamboat right in the middle.
Right. Which annoyed me, but go on.
But
Especially with George Steele interfering.
You know what's
Very
funny what you're
annoying.
saying here, though? You've got the Hart family, right, which is a great wrestling family, and the Poffo family, and it seems like the Poffo family understands about doing the honors, where the Hart family is more about their branding and maybe more New Age wrestling. Is that fair to say?
I think it's if I understood what you said, it'd be even fairer.
Okay, so let's try this again.
right.
So the Hart family is about themselves and about taking care of their brand, where the Poffo family is about taking
business.
care of the business.
Yeah, that's what it
That's what
sounds
I'm
like.
getting out
Well,
of this.
Especially if Macho was willing to do the right
Randy-
thing by Sean, and Brett was like, no.
Randy's version of selfishness was that he had his greatest match at his final match. You see what I mean?
Sure.
That he went out with a bang.
Right. And who wouldn't want to do that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then have people say, well, which match was better, his match with Steamboat or his match with Shawn Michaels?
Right.
But Pat Patterson told him,
Oh, here we go with him again. Go on. Tell me,
says,
Sean.
Randy, thank you, very good, but
Hold on, I got some music. Good.
Oh, that was the band that just walked by. You were
It's that
scared.
AOL. Go
I
ahead.
think that was a ghost.
At least they
Okay.
were in tune. Go on.
he says, Randy, that's great, but we're having a youth movement, and the best thing you could do is hang on to the microphone.
We're having a youth movement.
Yes. And so Randy says, ooh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was elderly, but I think I'll get a second opinion on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he called up the WCW,
Okay.
and he insisted that he doesn't want to do any announcing. He wants to go in the ring.
Right.
And with a chip on his shoulder, he tried to prove every night
Right.
that he was a young man.
Right.
So let me ask you, you're both in the organization at the same time?
And right before the match, he applied baby oil, and Andre hated him for it. Baby oil. And I said,
So wait a minute. So we heard that. I don't look. We heard the story, but what was it like in your house? You're hanging out with your brother. You guys having a beer or whatever, and are you guys rapping about Andre? Like, is he telling you like, Lanny, man, Andre just doesn't give me a break? Or are you guys having these conversations?
Here's what happened. I said, Randy, why don't you make an exception for Andre and then wear your baby oil for everybody else? He says, who the fuck you think you're talking to? He says, there's no exceptions.
Oh my God.
Baby oil is my gimmick, just like Andre is a giant.
Right.
You know, he thought that was
wasn't
part of,
budging. Right.
you know, he put a lot into this business. Okay, not just gambling his life with steroids when it was legal, but he used to go to the sunbeds for 1 hour on the road. He owned a sunbed, and he would do 1 hour and a half at home. And then we lived in Florida, and he would go out in the beach for all hours. And then he owned a condo on Treasure Island, right on the beach, and he would be all day at the beach. And then finally, the dermatologist says, you've got some precancerous cells on your face. You know, this is after he had quit the business. Right. So he sold his condo, moved inland to Seminole, Florida, where he wore a hat to protect himself from the sun, you know, because they scared him. And what I'm saying is he gave and gave and gave and gave to you, the fans.
Here, all speak well of you and your brother and your family. I mean, you guys are all iconic. But the one thing they do stand by is that Randy's treatment of Elizabeth. I don't want to even really go that route. I want to ask you your thoughts on Elizabeth
Does it
Hewitt.
bother you that you hear a lot of
Well,
this?
I know. I want to ask him what he thinks of Elizabeth as a person.
I believe Elizabeth needs to be in the Hall of Fame right now.
Sure.
And the fans are going to demand it, and that's when it's going to happen. Okay, now about the people who like to speak ill of the dead, after Pat Patterson dies, I'm going to give it up. Okay? Regretfully, he still has a pulse. So as soon as the clock stops, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead. But that didn't keep Pat from going on the DVD and speaking ill about Randy.
Right.
Okay, 2 wrongs don't make a right. But here's what I'm going to say to answer your question. What was it? I can't remember.
Well, the question really wasn't about Randy and his treatment of Elizabeth. I just pointed out the fact that some wrestlers have high respect for Randy, high respect for your family, but did feel that he was a bit jealous. But that's
Okay.
that's not the question I'm going
In the
down.
DVD with the Macho Man, Jerry Lawler went on and on about how jealous and obsessed Randy was with Elizabeth, and he was very critical.
Okay.
And to that I would like to say, Jerry baby, How many times have you been married? Once, twice, 3 times a marriage, and
But
put zeros under that. And by the way, go on Wikipedia and see if Jerry Lawler's life reads like the New Testament. No, it doesn't. Something about, I know WWE has a zero tolerance for such shenanigans, but if you don't believe me, go on Wikipedia and read it.
I'm kind of going down this road. Did Elizabeth make Randy feel that way? You know, you get involved in relationships.
Did she give him reasons to be paranoid?
You know, was she just this
Or
way?
was the locker room itself
and it
reason enough
made
to be
him
paranoid?
that. It just made him that way. I mean,
Okay.
look, if you're
When you're
drastically in love with someone and they, they're roaming around, it could be tough. And I'm not saying she was. I'm asking the question.
We're asking, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to answer your question.
Sure. And feel free at any time punch me in the face because most
No,
wrestlers
don't
do.
feel free. I'm
Now, listen, I'm going to be the
No.
first guest that has not punched anybody
in
in
a
the
while.
face.
That's what I'm
Yes,
talking
we're
about.
going to have a
while.
non-violent thing. And this thing doesn't work anymore.
I think Miller's uncomfortable
Okay.
right now.
But here,
Just get closer to Miller and hopefully it'll get struck.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
do you want me to answer this question?
No.
I do.
All right.
Okay, if I
Wait
point,
a minute, hold on. You said no, don't answer the question?
Hey, Miller,
No.
if I point my finger at you, guess what? 3 fingers are pointing back at me. See them?
Yep.
3 fingers.
see right in that
If you
reflection
point your
on
finger, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. Okay. They think that Randy locked Elizabeth in the closet, but guess what? They don't know if Randy locked Elizabeth in the closet because they didn't have the balls to open the door while Randy was inside. But now that he's gone, they have the temerity to come on shows like this and speak ill of the dead. Well, guess what? If you lie about my brother, I'm going to tell the truth about you. Got it?
Nice.
And look at this. Look at it this way. How many times have you been married? Ask yourself. Go in the mirror. Ask yourself. And ask yourself this. When's the last time somebody made love to you and meant it? We're going to clean it up.
Yeah.
And hate to be negative.
No,
I don't
glad
think you're
you
negative
got
at
to
all.
say what you wanted to say about
Okay,
it.
well, you know something?
it makes us uncomfortable
Go on.
when we're asked about
Okay,
it, you know?
go on geniuslannypoffo.com, and on the front page of my website is my speech for the Macho Man. And
Awesome speech.
you know why? Because I wanted to tell the world that Randy wasn't just a great man. Oh, he was a great man, but not just a great man. I wanted to tell what a good man he was. What a good man he was. And what a good man you are not. So you can't come to his knees as a man or as an individual or as a cesspool or anything. So all you can do is criticize the way Randy treated Elizabeth. The story of Randy and Elizabeth is the same story that has been played out in Hollywood and in the lay professions. Boy meets girl. Boy marries girl. Girl hires divorce lawyer, takes boy to cleaners. Girl dies of drug overdose. Boy dies of heart attack, specifically ventricular fibrillation.
Which
The
happens in all
story is the
people.
same. The names and faces are different.
Right.
Give me a fucking break.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
You're telling the story of a lot of different, everybody. So.
Let me tell you what. I loved my brother so much. And for 8 years, I still cry about it.
Yeah.
Okay? And when you talk ill of my brother, I'm going to tell the truth about you because you lie about him. None of you are the man that the Macho Man. You could never be the man. In the ring, on the microphone, if Randy was on the microphone right now, you'd be having more fun than you're having right now. Ooh, yeah. Because he believed in, he didn't care if this is going to millions and millions of people or just the people in this room.
Right.
He was going to give you your show business.
Right.
And if you paid money to see him, he was going to give you your money's worth.
Yeah.
He took it very seriously.
Stood right
Bam,
there.
bam.
It'd have to be a lot of money.
Man.
Did Randy ever want to
Aye.
be a father?
Ooh. Ooh.
Randy
Good
was
question.
a father of all of the Special Olympians.
I
Okay.
get it.
Okay.
Since he had no biological children of his own.
Did he ever share with you though, like, wish I had had a kid. Maybe anything like that. Maybe.
Okay, that is too private. If
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good,
Okay.
good enough.
Fair
good
enough.
enough.
Fair enough.
if that were true, I don't think now is the time.
Gotcha.
However, I can just say this: because he had no biological children of his own, he was the father to all those wonderful, beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
Special Olympians,
Countless. Right.
and they loved him too.
I bet.
And you know what? They knew who he was.
How can you not?
Oh yes,
How can you not?
and he always dressed. And one time,
Everyone knows who he
one
is.
time, Sue Aitchison's getting in the Hall of Fame, and she's the one that always made sure that this was there and that was there, and she's a wonderful person. But one time, through no fault of her own, the music didn't come. Bum 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 bum. Randy says, "What the hell's going on? We need the music to go on." That was back in